Just post whatever. Be yourself, bro.
So there's two different sectors of the business. There's the marketing, where you could be doing this a few different ways. There's a bunch of ways to go about it, but essentially, you're generating leads. You're getting leads coming through the pipeline, whether it's direct to seller or referral based or whatever the case is. This is a whole different sector of the business than this.
Gotcha.
So essentially, you want to be here, right? You want to buy deals.
Yes. I also want to market.
So no matter what, right? In order to get to here,
You would have to.
you need leads.
Yes.
In order to do this, you need leads.
Okay.
But they're two different sections of the business. You see what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get you.
Buying, right? You're essentially branding yourself as a buyer.
Okay.
Like you want everybody to know that Jeff is buying houses.
Okay.
Bring me opportunities. If that's all you want to do, if all you want to do is just say, hey, I am a buyer, just raise your hand, I'm a buyer. What do you have to do in order to be a valid buyer?
Execute.
Exactly, so executing, that means you need a team, right? You need a team, which is your contractors, your money people, maybe your attorneys. So in order to brand yourself as a buyer, you need this team in place.
Okay.
So in order to do a fix and flip, what do you gotta do? You obviously gotta buy it. So you need the money to do that. And then you gotta do the renovations. So you're gonna need the crew to do that. Maybe you're gonna want somebody to manage that crew. You're gonna want a project manager, right? You're gonna want some realtors on your team to list the property for you and make sure you're getting good comps and all that type of stuff. So you're gonna want a solid team. You're gonna want attorneys to do your transactions, all that. You're gonna want this team in place in order to raise your hand as a buyer, right?
Okay.
In order for somebody to come to you as a wholesaler and be like, yeah, I have a deal. Can you perform on it?
Okay. I have all three except an attorney. That's one thing I had.
So a cool thing about this is that most of these people, like the call that you just heard,
Yeah.
like if it's a wholesaler bringing you a deal, they should have their own attorney.
Okay.
Most likely, if they're well-established wholesale company, they will have their own attorney team that will be able to help you out. So with that being said, this is the type of team that you need for this.
Okay.
But what do you still need? You need leads.
Leads, yeah.
Where do leads come from?
I've personally been trying to get in contact with wholesalers. I've been on Facebook, just networking.
So it comes from this.
Yep, marketing.
And this could be a bunch of different things.
Okay.
Right? Marketing could mean anything. It could mean your brand. It could mean directly going to somebody, right? It could be a referral coming to you,
Yeah.
right? So there's a bunch of different ways that you generate leads. Now, the reason why I say these two are different is because you need two different teams, right? So for marketing, depending on what strategy you use, you're most likely going to need a team.
Okay.
If you're direct to seller, right, you're going to need a team to go directly to the seller, market to them, get the properties under contract, right? Typically, we look at this as just wholesaling.
Okay.
Why do we do that? Because this costs a lot of money. Why do we look at it as wholesaling? Like, why do we look at it as a different branch of the business? Is because it costs money. It has overhead. We have team members that we got to pay in order to do this. So, if Jeff Wholesale LLC gets a property under contract direct to seller, he might have some acquisition managers. He might have, a monthly overhead for direct mail or something like that he's got to keep up. So, what is Jeff Wholesale LLC? What should he do? How does he get that money if he wants to fix and flip it?
Put it on the market, sell it, fix it and sell it.
Yeah, so let's just say Jeff wants to be the buyer on his own direct to sell leads.
Okay, I see what you're getting at.
Jeff Wholesale LLC should wholesale
to
to Jeff Fix and Flip.
So you're essentially two different entities.
Yep. So let's just say you give yourself a 10K assignment fee. That could pay your acquisition managers. That could pay your direct mail
I
fees.
see what you're saying.
Whatever the case is. Treating this like a whole separate
entity. Okay.
Exactly. A whole separate business, a whole separate operation.
Okay.
See what I mean?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Now this is a whole separate operation as well, like I said. This is a team in place. Like you're able to, you provide a service to these people because you have this team in place.
This team, okay.
Right?
I see. Okay. I didn't even think about it that way.
So you could go down that road of direct to seller. And what could direct to seller be? Like when you're directly reaching out to somebody, what are some ways?
Mailers, text.
Yeah, mailers,
Cold call.
text, cold call,
Yeah.
Ringless voicemails, door knocking. It's just like, it's something that goes on and off. But all those things where you're directly telling somebody, hey, I want to buy a house, do you want to sell? That costs money typically.
That's pretty expensive.
What's another way?
Direct sellers. To generate leads.
Mm-hmm.
Referrals.
Mm-hmm. So you can get referrals. You can get referrals from, let's just say, probate attorneys. Or I have a junk removal business who sends me leads sometimes.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Like
pretty cool.
people like that, referral-based businesses like that, like going and building relationships with people like that. Cool thing about this is that it doesn't really cost money. It's just a relationship. And you don't really have to have an operation. You just have to build your brand and maintain the relationship.
I actually met a guy that he wholesales, but he doesn't do any direct seller marketing. It's all referrals, and
Mm-hmm.
he drives for dollars. Sometimes I'll come across it and just call the seller, and he does pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it. Like drive for dollars.
I mean,
That's funny. That's direct to seller.
Oh, really?
Because think about it. If you drive for dollars, what do you got to do?
Well, yeah, you find the dealer and you're gonna have to reach out to them.
You got to cold call or
Yeah,
text or
that's-
whatever, and that could
that's-
cost money. You got to spend it on the softwares or whatever. It's the cheaper version of direct to seller, but it is a form of direct to
Direct
seller.
selling, yeah.
You know, or you could brand. So what could this mean?
Kiwi.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea.
It's like branding, right?
But if you're gonna brand Jeff as a buyer, like,
Okay.
how could you generate leads from branding yourself?
Social media presence.
Yeah, essentially what it is, right? And that's like one way to get yourself out there, but you're helping people.
True.
You see what I'm
That's
saying?
you do.
Right. You're going out, you're helping the
Social
whole
media,
entire
yeah,
community,
yeah.
right? You're going out on social media telling people like, hey, I want to help you with your leads, whatever, give me problems. I'm here to solve
Okay.
them. I don't really want anything in return, but once I solve a problem, we're probably gonna do a deal together.
For the
You know?
relationship, yeah.
Like for a perfect example, we have one going on right now where wholesaler brings me the lead. I follow up with the lead a little bit. Finally, boom, close it. We are now splitting that deal because the wholesaler didn't know the rest of the transaction. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And he wants us to help him take it to the finish line. So you can do that, and that's just brand. That's just getting yourself out there, pouring value into people, and building a presence. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Probably the cheapest way.
Definitely. For sure. Referrals is fairly cheap too. And the cool thing about these three, actually, you do need a team for these three if you want to scale like to a big point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want a bunch of people going out to attorneys' offices or something like that, you can get people that are going to go hustle. I actually used to do it for a guy that had a chiropractic office. I used to go around to the attorneys' offices and be his like marketer, right?
Okay.
You could hire somebody and do that. That's part of the team. Same thing with brand, right? You might need people to do your social media and all those types of things. So you could need a team for this. But essentially, what does this do? This is just getting leads in the door. But do you see why we treat them differently?
Yeah, it's a whole different. Yeah, it's just a whole different aspect. But do you guys buy? Do you guys also buy? And
Yeah, we will.
so
buy.
this essentially is your business
Exactly.
model. Okay.
And for us, anything over here on this side are short.
Okay.
They're like quick. Like we're doing a novation agreement right now, where we actually don't buy the house. We just do some of the work and then put it back up on the market without buying it.
Coattail it.
It's sort of like that. But essentially, we are going to get some contractors in there. We do have our attorneys. We do have private money lenders giving us money. We do have a realtor listing the property. So we do have a team in place to do that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really not that much on that one. It's only like $15,000 tops worth of work and with listing back up on the market. Super easy. So those are the ones that we like because we put all of our focus on here. So we're like, hey, if we're getting into an $80,000 rehab, it's gonna take a bunch of our time away from here,
And you want to build that.
right? And we just want to solely focus on that. And maybe we go and build out the big crew,
Okay.
get a really big contracting crew to do full gut remodels. It's just not what we're mainly focused on at the moment.
So essentially, for me, I should probably start focusing on either buying or wholesaling. Is that what you're saying? Starting out
Yeah, I would definitely get honed in on one part of it,
first.
build that out, and then go
Or
to the
branch off, yeah.
hmm But essentially, like, if you want to focus on buying and you want to fix and flip, I would really go here.
Yeah.
I would focus on getting my team in place. Did you hear Andrew when he was asking you all those questions? Like, that's what wholesalers want to know.
Okay.
Like, hey, what do you?
I mean, I do have a
money?
contractor. I mean, guys
Yeah.
that license GCs and supervise my work. I have a couple money people. I have a really experienced realtor in there. I don't know if you know Kevin Fitzgerald.
I think I've heard of him.
He's pretty good. Yeah, he's like my realtor because I got pre-approved to buy, but I'm not buying anything right now. I'd rather just put my money in like these investments. I just need an attorney. That's like the last thing that I need to. Even like, let's say even on contracts, I do have someone, but like I'm at a point where like I feel I need to have some like a plan B because contractors aren't. This guy's pretty reliable, but he's busy. He's good. He's busy.
So that's dope. You have this in place. If I brought Jeff a deal right now, you could close on it.
Oh, I can close on it.
Right. So you have that in place, and you'd be like, hey, I'd be able to.
No, I can close on it.
Contractors. Boom. So you're good. You have this section pretty much covered to the point of what you want to do right now. You're only looking to get into like one deal right now.
Just get started.
Get started. Right.
Also, like I've already talked to the lenders. I know how much it's going to cost. I know the cost of my loan. I know what I can afford.
Right.
Like, if you bring me something I know I can't, I'm like, hey, yeah, it's out of my game right now.
So now you need this.
Leads.
You need leads.
Yeah.
So out of all these three, right? Like, which one do you think you can go tackle?
Branding is the easiest one, but me with work, I'd be willing to spend the money for direct seller. I feel like that would probably generate more leads.
So now that brings us here. You have one of two things. You either have time or you have money.
Yeah, I do have. I mean,
Luckily, sometimes people have both. But if you have the money that you want to pump into this, and you're like, hey, I don't really have too much time, but I would love to generate some leads, then direct to seller isn't a bad idea.
yeah, and that's. I mean, for a one-man operation, just throwing a number, like what would marketing cost for me?
It depends on what you're trying to do, right? Like there's.
Or like where I'm trying to focus in, right? Like towns.
So let's look at this, right? What are some ways of direct to seller? There's cold call and text. There's radio. There's direct mail. There's driving for dollars. There's what else is there? There's TV ads. There's PPC. Like there's all these different types
What's
of things.
PPC?
Pay per click.
Oh, people
It's
like
like-
SEOs, yeah.
Yeah, it's like if somebody went on Google and said, I need to sell my house fast or something, your ad would pop up and they give you a
Okay,
call.
yeah,
Those are like super hot, but they're super expensive.
Okay.
So that's, now you kind of start thinking about it. Okay, how much money do I have? How much money am I willing to kind of pump into this thing without seeing a return for a little bit?
And this is where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Deciding like what the approach is to generate the leads. Like I said, I got most of it, like just the attorney, that's the only thing missing.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I'm at, like what should I focus on? Method of
So-
marketing. I'm willing to spend money,
Mm-hmm.
but I just don't know which one's gonna be most efficient. Or like you bring up like KPI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
So the thing is with all of these, no matter what, if you're generating leads from any single one of them, you are direct to seller. So what do you need? You need a closer. You need somebody who can talk on the phone
okay.
and close the lead, or even go on the appointment and get somebody to sign a contract. This right here is a skill. This is something that you learn over time.
Time, yeah.
You know what I mean? This is something that you go get training for. This is something that you pay money for people to tell you how to do this. This is something that you're doing months after months after months and get
Trial and error, yeah.
Get really
Just
good at
building
it.
up, yeah.
exactly.
So people say, I mean, I'm not sure this is, but my cold calling you develop helps a lot with closing deals.
100%.
Yeah, and
Me
that's
too.
why
At this point, I've done thousands of seller calls.
yeah.
I've never cold called, like just pulled a list and started cold calling myself. I've always had virtual assistants doing that and then tossing me up the leads. But all the leads that I've been generating, like I've talked to thousands of sellers at this point. You know what I mean? So I've developed this. I've become a closer. I've spent the money on mentorships and sales training and all that stuff to learn how to close. You know what I mean? Not saying that you couldn't go generate leads today and close a deal like it happens.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, might be luck other than anything.
Yeah.
Or a really distressed seller.
That's the thing. So with all these, like, this is sales.
Yeah.
This is a sales department. That's why I look at this as an operation. This is a team that you need. You need closers. You need people following up with leads. You need all that, like cold call and text. You need a team to generate leads, follow up with leads, close leads.
Some VAs.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something you said you did have VAs at one point, but they weren't.
No, I saw all the people you saw on
Virtual
Zoom.
assistants?
Those are virtual assistants.
Okay.
Radio, right? Like radio is inbound, so you don't necessarily need people cold calling and texting or something going directly to somebody that's coming into you, but you need somebody to answer the phone, and then you're going to build up a pipeline of leads, and you're going to need somebody to follow up with those leads, because right when you get them on the phone, it's not going to be a bada bing, bada boom, close.
No.
It's going to be multiple conversations. Follow up, exactly. Literally, we have 6 deals under contract right now. Every single one of them were long-term follow-ups, like 6 months plus.
Yeah. And that's what I just saw something like a week ago. It's like you usually close on your 6 or 7 follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
And most people would give up on the second or third time.
Yeah, it's a ton of.
It was like one of those, like things I saw on Instagram. I'm like, that's interesting.
Dude, we went on an appointment last week. The seller literally told me not to go to the house. Like, hey, I don't think you should come here. We're not going to come to a deal together. You know, our prices are just off. I know we're never going to be able to come to a deal together. I ended up going on the appointment and getting the deal done.
There you go.
You know what I mean? But that was somebody that we were following up with for 6 months, and she was saying that throughout the whole process.
Wow.
You see what I mean? And then finally, like, just knowing this, yeah, I know there's something there. That's why I went on the appointment. So, like, cold call text. You need somebody to reach out to somebody. You need follow-up people. You need closers. Or you just have you as yourself doing all of them.
Yeah.
Like that's.
And I think starting off, I really want to like be more involved. I'll probably cold call because that's gonna help my sales skills. You know, dealing with people calling and just kind of qualifying them. And eventually, I'll probably just get VAs too and just let them deal with that and send me the leads, and it won't be much. But and I'll deal with that as they come.
For sure. Out of all these, Drop for Dollars is the cheapest. And
I've been doing that too. Like now, it's like because I'm just wired.
Mm-hmm.
I mentally see homes that like
you
I
go
just hop
like
on
this.
prop
You go like
stream.
this,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
right,
Prop
right.
stream. I skip trace it right there. Try calling, but not. You know, it's sometimes just they don't answer. Like, don't call me. I don't want to sell. And you know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're like literally. But like you start seeing things. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been driving through this one. Like on my way to work, I've been driving through that same street for like years. Now I can finally see that there was a big opportunity sitting right there, and then I skip trace out. It's got sold in December.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just. But you're not mentally wired to see those things.
Yeah. So it is crazy how it's like a car effect, right? When you buy a car or something, now all of a sudden you see that same car.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's like the same thing. But anyways, with this stuff, cold call and text, this instead of dropping for dollars, this is probably the next cheapest route to go.
Okay.
Once you get into radio, direct mail, PPC, TV ads, it's tens of thousands of dollars a month. Like it's super, super expensive. And you could go a few months without landing any contracts. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you could spend 10 grand your first month in PPC, generate some leads, but none of them really turn into deals yet because they're following up and stuff. Same thing next month. You spend another 10 grand, you're like, all right, I'm 20 grand in the hole, and now you're starting to get stressed out and you say, fuck it, I'm gone. But if you just kept going for another month, you would have to close something, and you see what I mean?
So I'm saying, the guy was digging and he just gave up when it was like a foot from the goal.
Right. And dude, it happens everywhere. This whole entire process, like it happens. But it's just super expensive. Cold call and text, right? In my opinion, I would never cold call. Like I would never get on a freaking dialer on a list of people that never raised their hand and said,
I want to buy.
you know what I mean?
Sell.
I want to sell. Like I'm only talking to people that said they want to sell the property. I'm not wasting my time talking to people that tell me to go F off.
Yeah.
Like my time is worth way more than that. So I hired, the first thing I ever did, once I realized I would never cold call, is hire a virtual assistant.
Okay.
What she did is she actually, I didn't really know too much at that point. She knew how to work the dialer already. She was working for somebody already.
Okay.
I kind of knew how to pull lists and stuff. I uploaded the list and she just started calling them. She started generating leads. She already knew what she was doing to a point. So it started working. She was generating me leads. I was doing the next two. Remember? there's the initial cold call text to somebody, and then there's the follow-up, and then there's the close.
Okay.
I was doing those two.
Yeah.
That is going to cost you about $1,000 a month for that virtual assistant, and maybe like an extra $500 for softwares and lists and stuff like that. Maybe even more. Maybe I would budget probably $2,000 a month if you just get one virtual assistant. Now doing that, you will end up getting a deal a month, but it takes a while for your pipeline to fill up, right? Like you'll convert leads that first month, they won't convert for the first like 3 months. So you're going to be spending $2,000 or something, maybe even a little bit more because you want more lists or something, right? You're gonna want to budget like $10,000 to get your first deal.
First deal, okay.
You know, and you just keep
No,
ranking,
it just keeps going,
keep ranking, right?
Okay.
And keep doing the follow up.
I like
Keep
that
doing the
approach.
follow-up.
Because it's easier at that point, especially with my job. I mean, leads come in, I can follow, like, you know, I'm at a layover, I can pick up the phone and call and do things like that. I like that idea, man.
What I did, I fucked up in the beginning. I got 3 of them. I said, you know what, I'm going crazy.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw something. You said they weren't even calling. You found out they weren't even calling.
Yeah, and because it was too much for me to manage, right?
Okay.
Like, I was doing everything. And the only thing I wasn't doing was the initial outbound. But I was following up, I was closing, I was discoing the deal, I was transaction coordinating, I was doing everything. So when I went that way and turned a blind eye, some of the team members weren't working or something like that. It just, there was stuff falling through the cracks. So
Now,
everything.
will they put it in your CRM as well?
Mm-hmm.
Is that's how you, okay. Would you use Folio?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll get on a dialer or the texting platform, and they'll generate a lead, it'll get submitted to Podio, and then my lead manager will follow up with them until they're ready to close. Once they're like 30, 60 days out, they get pushed to acquisitions. That's when my acquisition manager hops on the phone and has more of a sales conversation.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw it here before. We have like a sales
I saw
process.
that. Yeah, I kind of saw that. Yeah.
And that's when my sales manager goes through. And then when he's running deals by me, if he needs an appointment, I'll go on some of the seller appointments. We're kind of working on the kinks, what it looks like as far as like when I need to talk to the seller, when I don't, when he's closing. Like that's what we're working on right now.
Trying to like solely get yourself out of the operation and
Exactly.
oversee the operation.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that's where we're at. But dude, it takes a while to get there.
I know, but like you
my
gotta start somewhere, you know.
100%. And my bottleneck in the beginning was I was trying to get there ASAP.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm patient.
I was like, fuck it, I'm getting 3 virtual assistants. I want an acquisition manager. I want all the things right now.
Yeah.
And it lets me spending a bunch of money and not converting.
Exactly.
So even with the reason why I said this too, to back up a little bit, to give you a little bit of background, my first like 4 months of the business, I was doing like all these. And I wasn't doing any of them consistently. I was just like hammering everything. And nothing was sticking, so I was spending a bunch of money. Right? From this, the direct mail that I was doing, I had a stack of mailers. I'm like, shit, I gotta call all these people. They weren't home or the house was vacant or whatever the case is. I gotta call them. I'm not calling them. That's why I hired a virtual assistant. That's what gave me the idea. She started calling leads. She started generating me leads, which was good. She knew what she was doing to a point, and she started generating me these leads, and I started following up and closing. However, I didn't know how to close. This was in April of 2021.
Okay.
I was just fucking taking crazy action, creating chaos. I got into like 2 contracts. I wasn't able to sell one. The other one just wasn't a deal, right? Like I just was learning through the fire.
Trial and error.
I didn't have anybody to really teach me how to do this shit. I didn't have anybody teach me how to do this. I knew how to underwrite deals and I knew like repair costs and all that stuff because I learned from a fix and flipper.
Okay.
But I didn't know any of this. Like I didn't know sales when it came to like the sales process and closing a deal in real estate. I had no idea.
Yes.
I was a barber. Like I've always hustled, so I can talk to people and I can like get out there and stuff. I always had that from like it's just who I am as a person.
Skill, yeah.
You know, but closing is a legitimate skill that you should learn. It's not something where you're just like, oh yeah, I'm a charismatic guy. I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
Like dude, this is some ninja shit, right? Like you gotta know some ninja shit to do it. So this is what happens. I go from April to about June spending money on this virtual assistant generating me leads, no contracts. Finally, I'm like, dude, I've spent so much freaking money on all these at this point. I have this virtual assistant cranking me leads and this business just doesn't work. I'm like, fuck it, I'm done. I think at this point,
really walked away.
I was thinking about it. And then I see a video with Pace Morby on it. And I'm like, let me try this out, right? I end up getting into his mentorship. It was like my last shot in the dark. I'm like, all right, if this doesn't work, fuck it. I'm done with real estate. Like, I'm not even trying anymore. I get on a Q&A with him. The very first day that I was in the mentorship, I explained to him what I got going on, what leads I'm generating, like what exactly my business looks like. He's like, bro, you're doing a good job. Why? Like, what's going on? How come you're not getting deals? I'm like, I don't know. I got the leads coming in. I just don't know what's happening. And he's like, bro, you gotta learn how to close. You gotta go learn sales. Go jump in my sales training, which he has like a bunch of vaults, a bunch of Zoom vaults of his sales training. Go listen to my seller calls. Go get in the daily dial. Go get in the daily dial. That's like it's a Zoom every morning that the mentorship has where you can role play with other substitute students, right? And go back and forth and feedback on how to talk to sellers. Go get in that. Go listen to sales books. Go do all the things sales and get good at sales. So that's what I did. And literally in my first 3 weeks of being in sub 2, I got my first deal.
Oh wow.
And then from there, it kept going. And then as an entrepreneur and salesperson, I just got obviously developed, got myself in rooms with people doing stuff at a high level and just kept doing that. And I'm gonna keep doing that as I go forward. You know?
And people, they can say all they want about paying for mentorship. I truly believe in it. I almost did too at one point. I don't know if you know Ryan Dossie.
Right, it sounds super familiar.
Yeah, he's a wholesaler too and fix and flip buy hold. He does burrs. And I know it pays more than me too because I see him on my feed a lot. I almost did that, but then I'm like, I'm gonna hold off because I wasn't ready to get the business going. I didn't have everything set up. And I came across this guy on YouTube. I've been following him. He has this free wholesaling course and whatnot. I've been going through it. I still haven't gone away from the thought of getting into a mentorship because I truly believe. I feel like you might think you're spending money, but you're actually gonna save money because it's like you could have got multiple deals. You could have got multiple deals.
Here's your time.
Yeah.
Without a mentor, here's your time with a mentor. It just collapses it.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, bro, as far as like what route you think that you should go in right now,
if you were in my position, what would you do?
What do you think your skills are? Like, what do you want to do? Like, what gets you excited? Does talking to people and being a face of a business, does that get you excited? Or does more like the analytics and computer type of stuff? And
I'd rather be the first one.
so you'd rather be
I'd rather deal with people.
going on the appointments.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Then
I would much rather get my leads, go and close them, analyze my deals, and then just kind of get that going. And I don't want to really scale. I just want leads to come in consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's getting a little too much that I can't handle, okay, I might wholesale one or two. So like going back to the whole VA, one VA would be perfect for me. I don't need. You said I could get one deal a month potentially on average, and that's perfect. One deal a month. And do that and grow and just get more contractors.
Here's the thing. Depending on what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
is the advice that I want to give you. If you just want to buy, dude, I don't even know if I would go down this road. I think this and this is a much better road to go down.
Okay.
If you're just wanting to buy, I think you'd accomplish much more quicker if you went down this road.
Okay.
And networking with wholesalers and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like, that's what I would do. Like, here's what I would do. If I was a fix and flipper, literally, if all I did and I didn't have any money or anything like that, I would go really learn fix and flip, like to a T. I would maybe even go work for a fix and flipper or get in a fix and flip mentorship or something like that. Really learn how to underwrite deals, repair costs, and everything. And I would network with all the wholesalers, and I would help them underwrite deals. And I would know every single freaking wholesaler in that area. And they would come to me with leads. They would be like, hey bro, I have this lead. Where do you think it'd have to be? What are the repair costs? Can you analyze this lead for me? Okay. And naturally, I would be first on their mind when they have a deal under contract.
Okay.
That's what I would do. If I just wanted to focus on fix and flip, I would get this team in place. If it was me, and I would go network with all those people and help them out. And make sure that I was top of mind when they had a lead or when they had a deal that they needed sold.
I'm the guy to go to. Okay.
You know, I actually did it. Like the fix and flipper that was helping me, my first deal, I went to him like, bro, can you come on this appointment with me? Like I had a deal, boom, sold it to him. And that was my first deal, right? So he helped me out a ton. I appreciate him and got him a deal.
So I actually have a guy that I met through networking. He's from New Bedford. Yeah, Prudential Acquisitions.
Mm-hmm.
You know the guy?
Yeah. I don't know him personally, but
I've been in contact. He actually we went out. He wholesales a couple, but he also fixes and flips. When I was talking to him, he actually went down to Fall River to look at a property with me. just like that. And you know, and we all know he's like, you know what, this is a lot of work, but if you can get the seller to lower its price, then we can JV this, and I'll see if someone wants to buy it. But I mean, it didn't happen. The place needed a lot of work.
Right.
But yeah, but like to your point, he's been helping me with that, and I could be doing the same, but I would have to learn the fix and flip game to a T, and I still haven't done it.
You don't have to necessarily learn everything.
No.
It's just like putting yourself out there that you want to provide value to people and help them, you know? And naturally, once you start doing that, they're going to look to you as the first person to go and sell a deal.
Okay.
You know? So to go back to your question, like what would I do in your position? That's what I would do, especially if I had a W-2 where I didn't have the time to manage all this, because this, you're gonna want to scale it, right? Like why only have a deal a month from this?
Okay.
And then maybe if that's the case, you end up scaling up and you get out of your W-2 if that's the route you want to go. But these are two different things. Like, why do you want to fix it? Let me ask you that.
Man, I like the whole transformation thing. Just amazes me. I like turning nothing into something. I would like to get creative and just change things all the way around. And like I follow a lot of guys that do it. I'm like, wow, it's just a wow moment. And that's why I really want to do it. And I like to be in real estate too. I like to, doing transactions, things like that. But my ultimate goal is to do that and keep some too. So I want to be in real estate in general. Yeah.
So here's the thing on this side, it's out there in the trenches, solving problems, talking to people, like
it takes a lot. Yeah.
You
It's
know
a
what
lot
I
of
mean?
work. Yeah.
That's what it is on this side. It is legitimately going into seller appointments, figuring out, being like a freaking therapist to these people and solving their problem.
Okay.
Over here, you're providing a service to somebody who's doing all this. You're buying the contract. You're bringing the money to the table and getting the deal done. If you're just doing this, you're never talking to the seller. You don't need to learn this. It's gonna help in the future if you want to go down this road. But if like all you want to do is just get a freaking deal under your belt and fix and flip it, the fastest route to do it is through referrals or branding yourself or helping people or whatever it is, just getting out there, get the team in place, and freaking go find the people that's going to bring you the contracts.
Yeah, I need to go to meetings.
Because this is contracts.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're generating contracts at this point.
Okay.
And then you're relying on this team to provide a service to this team to buy the contract. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like completely two separate things. Two separate skills, two separate teams, two separate everything. But if you did want to go down this road, you can always just wholesale it to yourself. But in order to get it done the fastest, I would say this. Because this takes systems, processes, skills, everything. Not saying that this doesn't take the same thing, but they're two separate systems, processes, skills,
Different approach.
You know what I mean? And then what's going to end up happening, you're going to end up being, you're going to get a couple deals in your pipeline, you're going to get really good at fixing people. And you're going to really start to be able to help people. And you're going to have people coming to your fix and flips. And you're going to be able to host things at your fix and flips, like, hey, come watch, come see.
Yeah, I've seen guys do that. Like, come see this fix and flip. And we'll do a walkthrough how we secured the deal, funded the deal, etc. And it's mostly probably wholesalers and guys that want to get into fix and flip that will go there.
Exactly.
And that's part of building your brand. That's cool. Yeah, man, thank you. I agree with you. I think I'm going to focus on the buying portion, but I'm also going to go to meetups and network, or try to network with as much wholesalers in the area as I could, just to know who the players are, and try to get a deal and try to help people and start building my brand through my fix and flips, and kind of put myself as a buyer out there.
Oh yeah, and stay sticky.
Yeah.
Like stay on these people. Like literally, somebody hit me up the other day who wasn't on top of my mind. Like I wasn't thinking about him, but he just randomly hit me up. He's like, hey bro, do you guys have any deals in the pipeline at the moment? And we didn't. Literally 2 hours later, somebody shoots me a deal in the city where he would buy in, and he was first top of mind. I'm like, oh yeah, let me connect the dots.
Good. Yeah.
You see what I mean? But the thing was, he was sticky. He texted me, hey bro, what deals you got? I would, if I got that deal sent to me and he didn't send me that text, I probably would not have thought of it, to be honest.
Sweet.
Love them, but it just
No,
you did a good job of being sticky.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all about it's keeping that relationship going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once you establish it, keep it going. It's like a baby, nurture it. And how you approach a person in a relationship you build, obviously, like Jeff, you know, take care of him, and it's a two-way street. I mean, you're taking care of each other at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. Put it that way. Like you're gonna have to handle this. It's not just like going to a meetup once a month or something like this. This is like being fucking obsessed.
Gotta be that guy.
Yeah, this is being fully obsessed. Like, yo, you're gonna know who I am. I'm gonna help you, and I'm going to buy deals from you.
Yeah.
And letting that be known.
If I don't, I'm gonna find someone to buy it for you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And this, same thing. This is a lot.
Yeah.
This is, no matter what in real estate, bro, it's a lot. Put it that way.
And the thing is, it's like, yeah, I do have flexibility with my job, but like, I feel like it will require a lot for me.
It is.
Like the whole, direct selling marketing. So, yeah, I might just focus on the buying part. And that's, I'm glad you took the time and came here to talk to you, because it was like kind of like confused on how to approach things. I don't want to start anything, get halfway through and get discouraged and
well, listen
stop.
to what could potentially happen, right? If you went down this road just to do this, you would do this for about 3 months. You would get a contract, right? And then you would put all your time and energy on that fix and flip and forget about this shit. And not really forget about it, but this stuff would then fall through the cracks. And then this deal is going to finish up and you're going to be like, shit, I need more deals.
Now
Go
you're
back
more on marketing because now
Exactly.
you're behind.
Exactly. So whichever one you're going to do, go fucking full deep into it, automate it, and then go do the other one.
Okay.
So go get your team in place. If this is what
Start
you're gonna do.
this, and then maybe down the line, once this is kind of it won't be on autopilot, but if it gets to a point where it's automated, then yeah, maybe I can start doing that.
Yeah, it's gonna get automated. Once you get it to the point you get really good at fix and flip, and you'll have your vendors, you'll have your attorneys, you'll have your realtors in place.
The team, project
Exactly.
managers, yeah.
You'll really understand fix and flip, and then you're going to be like, okay, I'm kind of sick and tired of dealing with wholesalers and dealing with not being in control of where I'm buying my deals and where I'm pointing the cannon as far as where I want to market. And then you're gonna be like, okay, let's go point the cannon somewhere, and let's go get our own deals.
Gotcha.
Vice versa. If you went down this road, let me have control of exactly what the heck is going on. Let me be able to track my KPIs and know exactly how many deals we're gonna get a month and everything like that. Let me get that on autopilot, and then let me build this team up.
Okay. So whatever route, put in 100% into it.
Yeah, because I see a lot of people trying to do both, and it just
Doesn't work, yeah.
doesn't work. I try to do both,
You did, yeah.
right? Like I wanted to be the fix and flipper at one point. I wanted to do all the things, and then all of a sudden, I just happened to go down that road. I liked talking to people, and I'm like, hey, this is a part of the business that I like, and I just went full fledged into it. But when I was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of both, nothing was happening.
Yeah. Jack of all trades, don't for nothing.
Right.
Yeah. All right, man. Dude, thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
For sure, bro.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Oh no, man. Dude, you don't know how this helped a lot.